Hi, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at iFiber One News Radio. I'm Jeff Slakey, and we got more great guests in studio this morning. Mason County Community Services Director Dave Windom stops by to talk about more of the ongoing conversations we're having here on impacts from the 2018 Mason County budget. Morning, Dave.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good to see you here. And coming up on, we were just saying this, almost a 2-year anniversary here with you.
Yeah, May will be 2 years.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. You have a lot of departments and services that fall under Mason County Community Services. I would venture a guess, and that's what you're here for, to talk to me a little bit about some of the impacts from the Mason County budget on services for those in the county. You do under your purview building, community health and human services, environmental health, the fire marshal, planning, and vital records, which are all vital to business in the county. What are some of the impacts that you are foreseeing, and how can the community work around them?
So we kind of have to understand our budgets are a little more complex than other departments in that the community development portion with building, planning, permitting are primarily fee and permit based.
Okay.
So the funds are like any other business. We have a service, we charge for the service, so it's really tied very tightly to the economy.
Okay.
So the building, planning, permitting portion is like a two-piece pie. So if you look at public health, it's a little different in that it has 6 pieces because you have county funding, you have state funding and licenses and fees and federal funding. So there's more pieces in that pie, which make it a little more stable and not quite as necessarily tied to the economy.
Okay.
So where our budgets were impacted is the 17% cut that all departments had was for the county contribution portion of public health.
Okay.
So didn't necessarily impact the community development piece because we're primarily fee driven.
Does that then impact the response? You know, we're in the middle of a pretty devastating flu season recently. We've been hearing a lot of reports all around the country and here in the great state. Does the impact on the health department, is that impacting the quality of service available for people or the availability to get information? No,
in fact, we've removed one program, but we've kept the communicable disease investigation piece. It's the primary focus of public health. Okay. You have to have that. So those are the things that we make sure that are funded before anything else is funded. So that ability to keep the public health from things you might bump into accidentally. So bad food, water, air, disease, those sorts of things are the primary focus.
Does it impact at all the efforts to get out, when you talk about food and things like that, in food inspections, restaurant inspections, making sure that people are maintaining proper cleanliness levels and things like that?
Not that so much. Where we did have a problem was part of our solid waste program was tied to the capital budget.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't have the money to work on some of those solid waste issues, and we're hoping that once the capital budget actually it starts rolling again, I mean, it's been approved, but it hasn't started coming out, we'll be back into the solid waste work in a little more detail.
What happens when it is tied to the capital budget and it does get held up or not passed like it has, we've seen over the last year? How do you... I can't imagine you just ignore what you were supposed to be doing with that, but how do you
well, we prioritize it. Yeah. So what we do is, especially in the solid waste component, it impacts our ability to do enforcement.
Okay.
Because there is no mechanism by which that's paid.
Right.
So what we have to do is, since that money is reduced, is I have to transfer money from our flexible funding, which we get from the county, into that, and then really prioritize. Is it really a life, health, safety issue? And then take it into 3 tiers. And we deal with that tier 1 stuff right off the bat. And the other stuff, we have to wait until we have some more funding.
What about the kind of day-to-day interaction with the public, either through press releases, interviews like this, or just people coming into the office? Will they or do they see any changes out front?
Well, we have changed our hours a little bit.
Okay.
So we are open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4:30.
Okay.
And then we're open on Friday to the public until noon. We're there all day, but we're open to the public until noon. So, and one of the reasons for that is because the economy is tight, and we are short-staffed, especially on the community development side. So we're short a permit tech, and we're soon to be short a building inspector. And we're organized a little bit differently in that our building inspectors also did their own plans examining. So in most counties, you have a plans examiner. A home plan comes in, it gets examined, approved, then goes to the building inspector. Well, our building inspectors do that too.
Oh, wow. So
the workload is a little higher on our building inspectors. So what we've done is we've taken that Friday afternoon to reserve, so our building examiners, inspectors can sit down and get those pieces knocked out and prepare for the next week.
These seem like important and topical, top of mind pieces of information that needs to get input to people wanting to build houses or things like that. Also, I look at the vital records that you work on, birth certificates, death certificates, things like that. So when the offices is closed in the afternoon and then on Friday, that's when the bulk of that work is done. So you're not seeing a lot of backlog happening.
We're trying to clear up the backlog. So in this last summer, we had a tough time because it got busy and it stayed busy. It stayed busy well into the fall.
Oh, wow.
Which was unusual. We still see 550 people at the front counter per month, just in the building department side of things. So we still have a lot of foot traffic, a lot of people coming in, and that has impacted what we do. On the vital statistics, that's something that we can keep up on pretty quick.
Okay.
In fact, we can issue birth and death certificates right there.
Oh.
So we can also mail them. So that piece is really pretty well streamlined.
Talk to me about the work the fire marshal does in the county. Are those impacted services? I was talking with Jeremy Hicks from North Mason the other day, and I know that he's working on some plans and ways to help businesses come into compliance and things like that. So as the fire marshal goes around to places, will you see them less often, or are there any impacts in that type of department?
Actually, no. I think Jeremy does a lot of our work for us.
Yeah.
So especially on all the new fire compliance, for new building, especially commercial. So I don't think we'll see a reduction in service there. We have a good contract with the fire chiefs who do the investigation work for us. So, and that's been a very good relationship for a number of years.
The hours there are 8 to 4:30 Monday through Thursday, and 8 to noon on Friday, and then, of course, national holidays, things like that. There is always a 24-hour disease reporting line that you can call at 360-427-9670. That's the Main County line, and then extension 274, and over on North 6th Street. It's Mason County Building 8. When people just go in there, what kind of information is available on cleanliness, keeping yourself healthy, things like that? Can people go in and find information about protecting themselves from the flu and stuff like
Right. So when they come in, there's two main entrances, one downstairs for public health, one upstairs for building and planning. And you come in, and on the public health side especially, we have all our brochures there. Plus we have people on staff, so we call it Dilemma. So there's a person on Dilemma who can answer those questions. So if you have a food question, there's an environmental health specialist that can come up and talk to you about food or about on-site septic. There's always somebody around to talk to.
Seems like when I talk with department heads and regular daily workers in the county, even regardless of what had been happening with the budget and some tough understanding of the numbers over the couple of months, people still put the needs of the county first. They put the citizenry first, and morale seems to be still relatively high, and things are getting out there. So folks are still able to get good service from the county, it seems like.
I think so. One of the things that I was really pleased when I came here was to walk into a great staff. That's sometimes rare as a director to move in and have a staff that's there that has a great attitude. They're very well trained, and they're very efficient at what they do. So I've always been very happy with our staff here.
Yeah, very cool. Dave Windom is the Community Services Director for Mason County, and we'll continue conversations with him on the variety of departments and topics that he has under his purview. So we'll make sure we get you back to talk about some of these other issues when they bubble up. All right, Dave?
Sounds good.
Good to see you.
Thanks.
Have a good one.